You're listening to Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. For more information, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at SBT Songs, or check us out at chrisblair.com. What's up, everybody? Here is another episode of Stories Behind the Songs. I'm your host, Chris Blair, and this week I'm sitting down with my good buddy, Josh Melton. Josh has an incredible story that is extremely inspiring. If you are an aspiring musician or songwriter thinking about moving to Nashville, this episode is for you. He shares some truly wild stories about his initial arrival in Nashville and all the hardships he went through to chase his dream. Originally from Ohio, Josh takes us through the many ups and downs he experienced when he first moved to Nashville, how he got his first publishing deal and met his wife playing bars on Broadway, and everything else that led to his first number one with Dylan Scott's Can't Have Mine. He's going to take us into the writer's room with this song and discusses what it was like hearing that song go number one while on Thanksgiving with his family. This is such a cool story. Apart from being a songwriter, Josh also releases music of his own and plays a portion of his song Empty Bottles for us. Josh has more music coming out in the coming months with plans to tour at festivals all through the summer. Josh has an incredible voice and tells his stories through a really unique way. Give him a listen anywhere you stream your music and check him out. You can also find all of his information in the liner notes below to stay up to date with his new projects. And as always, we want to give a special shout out to our sponsors, Sennheiser, Imperfect Esthetician, and All Clear In-Ears. If you are looking for a great set of in-ear monitors, these are the best. Go check out All Clear and take advantage of our code SBT Songs at checkout and you get 10% off. All right, let's get to it. Here is Josh Melton. All right, here we are once again. Thank you guys for tuning in. We are here this week with my buddy Josh Melton. How you doing?
Good, man. Living the dream.
Yes, sir. Thanks for getting up early and coming to hang with us.
I think I wake up about 6 a.m. these days.
Yeah,
with the little ones.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that because there's the song, but one of my favorites from the first day I heard you play it was standing up in the balcony. I was like, bro, so good.
It's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. But let's go back to just how you got into music. And by the way, I know that we've known each other for a long time, and I know a lot of your story. Pretend like I know nothing. Okay. Because I want to dive in.
We're gonna dive in, huh?
But from Ohio, when did you get into music and decide to chase this dream?
Yeah, so I was raised a preacher's kid, so I was always kind of in the choir, but they had me singing bass, so I wasn't really singing. I was just kind of up there because I had to be. Yeah. I did that growing up a little bit, and then I got volunteered to play the drums at church. So I was involved with music a little bit, but I never sang or anything like that. I did one solo at church when I was 16, and I about messed my pants on stage because I was so nervous. And so I never did it again because I was so nervous. Fast forward like 7 years, I walked in a karaoke bar, had a few drinks in me, and did some Frank Sinatra. And it was no turning back from there. That night kind of changed my whole trajectory of my life. I started running a karaoke business with a friend. And so when people weren't singing, I was singing just to get people involved. So I blame it on Frank Sinatra. But I got a guitar. It used to be the church's guitar. My dad gifted it to me for Christmas. So I started kind of teaching myself. My dad taught me 3 chords, and then I kind of took it from there. I moved to Nashville about a year after I walked into that karaoke bar.
So you're about 24?
I moved here at 30.
30, okay.
Yeah. It kind of just fast forwarded from there. When I don't know how much detail you want me to get into here.
Go ahead.
So when I first moved to Nashville, I got some wild stories here.
I think I know where you're going, and I want to dive into that.
So when I first moved to Nashville, I couldn't rehearse at my own like little apartment because it was too loud, and I was trying to get onto Broadway. I thought that's what was making it,
Yeah.
And I knew no cover songs. So I was working at a nursing home, and one day a girl came in to sing for the people at the nursing home, and we met, and it turns out she ran a storage unit across the street, and so we became friends, and she let me use a storage unit to practice in. So I'd go there every day. I had a mini fridge, a mirror, a couch, and I'd stand in front of that mirror and practice singing cover songs.
Yeah.
So for a whole summer, I think I learned about 100 cover songs. That made me able to start doing music instead of the nursing home gradually. Throughout those nursing home days, though, it was super rough to even stay in Nashville because I was so broke. My car broke down. One day I got called into one of the residence rooms, and her whole family was in there, and I was like, oh no, what did I do? Did I give her the wrong pill or something? Or and they're like, hey Josh, we know you don't have a car. So-and-so, she's about to pass away of cancer. And she's like, she wants to give you her car. And that's the first car that I received that let me go on tour. So if it wasn't for that lady, I don't know what would happen, but there's so many different stories like that along the way that I know God has his hand upon. Cause so that same car, fast forward 2 years of touring, I played every club imaginable for $100. I was on my way back from North Carolina, I think, through the Smoky Mountains, and the transmission started slipping. I had my first scheduled gig downtown the next day of my own. I've been playing down there with a bunch of people, but I got home the next day. I fired it up, got on 65, and my transmission blew. So I know a little bit about cars, so I knew that my reverse still worked, but I didn't have money for a tow truck. So I reversed that thing all the way home, knocked on my neighbor's door that I didn't know, and he drove me downtown for my first gig, and I got there on time.
That's amazing.
So that car lasted a while, but it blew up on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also, during like the first probably year or so that you were in town, you were pretty much homeless too, right?
Well, okay, so for a couple of years I had a roommate, and then we kind of split ways, and that was when I kind of hit hard times because I didn't really have a steady job at the time, and I met this guy at a writer's round. We were in this competition at Puckett's, and we got like top 3 out of I don't know how many people, and I looked at this kid, and I was like, hey man, we're gonna be best friends one day. And turns out we are still best friends. He let me sleep on his couch. He said, yeah, you can stay on my couch for a couple weeks. Turned into almost a year sleeping on this, and we were in this like 600 square foot apartment. I remember sleeping on a blow up mattress that had a hole in it, so I'd wake up on the floor every morning. And that, like, it's super humbling to think of where I came from, and that's why I'm so thankful every day,
Yeah.
So I don't know how I've become and received what I have, but I'm so thankful for it. And waking up in a bed beside a beautiful wife, and it's just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Mark Burke, thanks to that guy for letting me stay on his couch, because if he didn't do that, who knows where I'd be. So
Yeah.
It's pretty wild stuff.
So you are grinding it out, sleeping on Mark's couch, and just being a road warrior, playing every gig that you can. And that leads you into kind of building a camp and getting your name out there and getting your pub deal. So walk us through how that first pub deal happened.
Yeah, so back it up a little bit, and I met my wife at a bar on Broadway. My dad and mom always told me nothing good happens in bars, but I beg to differ because I think, did you meet your wife in a bar?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I met my wife in a bar, and we fell in love fast. 7 months later, she was pregnant. So I picked up an extra gig at Luke Bryant's on a Tuesday, and I was just playing for a couple tables and a couple people, and I noticed a publishing company walk in because I just did a St. Augustine, situation, and were you there?
Yeah, I was hosting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
St. Augustine Songwriters Festival. Yeah.
That's
I host
right.
it every year. Yeah.
So were you with Janine on that Tuesday?
Yeah.
You were with her?
Yeah.
So you guys walk in.
Well, no.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
I thought you might have been there.
No,
but,
I wasn't with them on Broadway.
okay.
No.
I saw a few people from the festival walk in, so I was like, oh, I'm going to start playing original music.
Yeah.
And then a lady named Janine Ebach walked in.
Yep.
And she walked up to me and said, hey, do you have management? And I actually just started talking to my manager, Chris Perkins. And I told her that Chris was my manager. And she's like, oh, my gosh, I love Chris. I'm at Curb Word over here. I would love to talk about possibly getting you a publishing deal, So I was like, this is crazy. People say you don't get discovered on Broadway, but somehow, some way, that's how it all started unfolding.
Yeah.
Janine took another opportunity. I wrote at Curb Word for about a year without a publishing deal, just thinking that was going to be my family. She got another opportunity, so we kind of shifted gears. I ended up signing my first publishing deal at Universal, and that was a couple weeks before the pandemic hit. So my wife was bartending at the time, and I was just slowly doing music. And what my publishing deal ended up being was the exact to the T of what our house payments and car payments were. So God took care of all that too, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's always been a God thing for me.
Yeah.
How he just kind of supplies exactly what we need. But that's how I got my first publishing deal. I got discovered on Broadway, which is the last thing that I ever thought was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that ship's kind of sailed as far as being down there and getting scouted, I guess.
Yeah. It doesn't happen really that much at all. But
No. There's so much talent down there too.
yeah, there is. So I want to start to dive into songs because there's a few that I want to talk about, but a couple that I really want to dive into because I know the stories and they're great. But let's first go into your first number one, Dylan Scott.
That's wild. I write a couple times a week, so I come down here, write with different people, and it's just a routine thing. I bring a couple ideas, and we get in the room, and sometimes we knock it out of the park, and sometimes we just sit there and laugh and just have a good time. I was on my way down, and Matt Alderman is a good friend of the country superstar Dylan Scott that recorded our song, and he texted me and said, hey, do you mind if Dylan joins our write? And I'm just like, oh man, this is wild. Like, I've never written a song for anybody else besides me before. I was like, well, I guess it's not going to hurt anything. Let's do it. So I get there, we kick it off, shoot some ideas around. He starts playing this little ditty, and he's like, what did he do? He brought like half of the chorus in, and we all look at each other and we're like, well, yeah, let's do that. He said, found you a girl that leaves you speechless, gets wild on the town, but still loves Jesus. And we're all like, yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah.
So we ran from there with it. Dallas Wilson, just a heavy hitter, man.
Yeah.
Matt Alderman, what a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get thrown in the mix. It's just like, how the heck did I get here? So I'm sitting there and we knocked this song out. And I'm just like in this dream moment of like, holy crap, this is how it all happens. So I get so excited about everything. You know, I record some of it live, and after he leaves, I find out that he just recorded his whole album. And then like my sales just like deflated.
Yeah.
It's like, Curb just recorded his whole album. They're not going to do one for a long time. I'm like, oh geez, I have no chance of like this song going anywhere. So I didn't even tell my publisher that we wrote that day. Nobody even knew. I was just like, I think I got a cool song for myself. This is awesome. He texts us 2 days later, and he says, boys, this song went viral on TikTok. Voice recording he sent all of us. He said, but the problem is my label doesn't like it. They love it. But the other problem is I already recorded my album. But your boy got that fixed, and we're taking everything down. We're putting this song on. And it's like, dang, it's like, there's another God thing right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, I still get emotional about it, but, and then he said, it's my next single to country radio. So, you know, this town's full of so many talented people that haven't even had the opportunity to get a single on country radio.
Yeah.
So for me to be able to get that is just a huge God thing for me and my family, you know. So I believe God's got my steps lined up here, and it just went number one a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And I'm just riding the train.
Yeah.
You know, so
Where were you when you found out it was number one?
Where was I? I was at Thanksgiving with my family in Iowa.
Yeah.
And they really can't grasp what that means. But Olivia understands, my wife.
Yeah.
So we cried some tears, and
Yep.
you know, it's just, for me, it's like a number one song is just kind of validation of this whole thing, you know, and it's a cool thing to use as a crutch for confidence.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives me a little bit more confidence in the writing room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a cool situation, and I can't wait to have the plaque just to look at it when I'm down.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But thanks to Dylan Scott, man. He's top notch. His team, I mean, no wonder. He should be like the biggest there is.
Yeah.
I'm biased when I say that, but if you go see him live, he's killing it.
I hope he's listening. I've been friends with him for a long time. Met him through Lance Carpenter back when we were in Cummins Station. So this is like 2008. I have a picture of Dylan Scott. He's gonna kill me. I've got a picture of Dylan Scott on one of the tables at brunch at the listing room, where it was like we used to get together every weekend, me, Lance, Dylan, and a couple other dudes, and there was nobody there. This was like early on when we started doing it, and he like goes into the bathroom, comes out with nothing but his underwear on, and lays on the table, and like we got a picture of him, and I still like, it will never see the light of day. I would never do that, but it's just, I love that dude so much.
No, he's awesome, man. And like, if I could have like 10% of his energy, I'd be killing it.
Yeah.
He is just rocking.
Yeah.
I got his back any day of the week because I got my money on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by All Clear Audio. All Clear Audio is a custom and universal in-ear monitor company based in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with a storefront right here in Nashville, Tennessee, where we film the Stories Behind the Songs podcast. All Clear strives to not only be the leading provider of high-quality, custom, and universal fit in-ear monitors, but also leads the way in customer service and care. With custom starting at dual driver all the way to 13 drivers, there's something for everyone. head over to allclair.com, that's ALCLAIR.com, and use our code SBTSongs to receive 10% off. Thank you for the sponsorship. We love you guys at All Clair, and we hope that everyone out there listening takes advantage of this and enjoys them as well. Okay, I want to dive in, and I want to ask you to play a part of this one. But you've been playing Listening Room for many years, and we get to hear so many great songs that other people have not gotten the opportunity to hear yet. And I want to pick one that we kind of teed up earlier.
Yeah.
Because we're both in the thick of it with our kids, and you've got a beautiful 2-year-old that you're walking through life with now, and it's amazing how the life that we live as especially musicians in Nashville, can change like that when you have a baby. And the times that sometimes you were used to coming home is now the time that you're starting to wake up. And you wrote an incredible song about what you were going through, and I want you to take us into the writer's room, to Empty Bottles, and walk us through how that idea came up, and the process of it. And if you could play a little bit of it, that'd be great.
I wrote this with Justin Morgan, and I forgot the other guy's name, but I talk to him all the time. Amazing people. I was trying to do something with Empty Bottles, because I knew that was a hook.
Yeah.
I knew that was a huge hook. And the other guy in the room was like, different empty bottles. And I was like, that's it. So we just ran with it. I'll play a verse and chorus. Well, it all looks different these days, seeing life in a brand new way. 4 a.m. wide awake, I guess some things will never change, like staying up all night and greeting that sunrise. But it's not about me anymore. Used to be Bud Light all night with the guys chasing down the moon. And now it's rocking you to sleep before try to sneak out of the room. It's like night and day, but I wouldn't change what's changed. Yeah, life is still full throttle, holding different empty bottles. Yeah.
Man, I still get chills when I hear that.
Yeah.
It's such a great song.
It was, it came at just the right time. We were just getting my 5-year-old out of diapers, and then the 2-year-old comes along, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. I don't think the people that need to hear it have heard it yet. So it's going to be wrapped up in my new album coming out. So hopefully it'll catch a new light and get some feet.
Yeah.
It's a cool song. It's so relatable to parents,
Yeah.
That's why we're kind of making it a focus track of the album.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that before we wrap up, because a lot of the guests that we have on here are strictly writers, and you are also an artist.
Yeah.
And your new album that you were talking about, Boy, that's coming out. Talk about that, because I want everybody to be able to follow you. And by the way, everybody listening, we'll put all the liner notes in here to give you links to follow Josh. But walk us through all that.
So it's been like 5 years in the making. I think the hardest part about being an artist is just figuring out what you want to say.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's just what I know. I love my wife. I love my kid. I love my family. I still love drinking a little bit of beer, So I kind of mixed all that together, and I think I have some of the best songs I've heard. I got some songs about my past breakup coming in there. You know, I'm going to hit some emotion with it. I got Empty Bottles on there. I'm doing a acoustic version of Can't Have Mine, which is cool.
Yeah.
I got some songs about taking your lady downtown, like not your lady, taking our ladies out downtown, having fun.
Your latest release, Good Old
Boy. You know, I got that. We're gonna roll that in there. I think it has. Well, I know for a fact that every single song I've lived it.
Yeah.
So that's important. That was important for me for my first album.
Yeah.
I got a really special song on there that I wrote for my wife for our wedding day. So it's gonna be, it's a good way to get to know who I am. All you gotta do is listen to that album.
Yeah.
So that was important for me and my team. They said we got to let them know who you are through your music. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. We were gonna release it the first of the year, but we think these songs are so good that they need their own moment. So we're going to release a couple more singles and then release the whole album. So
Love it.
I can't wait. I got to work with the best writers and musicians this town has to offer. And I spent all my money on it. So hopefully I'll like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a tour in the works?
So we're always ready for the opportunities. We're setting shows up. We're doing a bunch of festivals this summer.
Yep.
Not on a major tour yet, but I believe that's in my future.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know I'm right where I'm supposed to be, right where God wants me, and I'm just staying ready. You know.
Yep.
So. I'm just ready to rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the important question. When you do get to that point, I need to, this is serious. I need to know how you're going to handle this. When you get to that point where you're out on the road all the time and like not at home as much to take care of your grass, like how are you going to keep your lines the way that you keep your lines?
That's rough. And that's a serious question because I got hurt a little bit this summer. I went on a week tour and I came back and it was burnt up, man. So here's what I got to figure this out. I got to put irrigation in, number one.
Yep.
And then I got to get a neighbor that I can trust to kind of watch it a little bit if I'm gone for more than a week.
Yeah. Oh man, I love it.
Yeah.
I love watching the pictures, and I sent you a text a couple summers ago. It was like,
I'm telling you, man, that's a passion of mine. Well,
it is me too.
This used to be my hobby, but now my yard is my hobby.
Yeah.
I got fortunate enough to get another sponsor this year for all my chemicals and stuff. So it should be set up. Simply Lawn Solutions. Thank you guys for coming through. But I'm pretty sure I'm one of the only lawns around here that's sponsored. So I love it. I take good care of it. That's my time. I crack a couple cold beers, and I just get out there and I'm in the zone.
Yeah.
And that's where I usually come up with most of my hooks.
Yeah.
Is mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love it, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for being here and sharing a little bit of your story. And we can't wait to watch this new album just come out little by little, and then the whole thing get dropped. And
appreciate you.
You know I love you, and always a big fan.
I love you too, man. And thank you for what you do for us and the songwriting community. This was a huge goal of mine when I moved here, is to play this stage, and to be able to do this every month is amazing. So thank you for what you do for the community.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
All right, before we wrap up, last question. If you go back to Ohio and picture 8-year-old Josh in Ohio, and now you're here right now with beautiful family, 2 kids, and you've got a full album coming out, everything that's happened along the way, being homeless, being given a car, all of those things, what advice do you give 8-year-old Josh today?
I just tell him to, I wouldn't change a thing. Because if I'm living a dream right now, so I wouldn't touch a thing.
Yeah.
I just say listen to your parents more. That's it.
Yeah.
Because I'm so thankful for where God has me. I think if anything would change, it would mess it all up. So,
Yeah.
all the experiences that I've went through are making me this guy. So, I kind of like who I am.
Yeah.
So I just say listen to your parents more, and I don't know, maybe apply yourself a little bit more. But if I would have done it then, I probably wouldn't have done it now. So
Yeah.
who knows? 8-year-old me. It's a pretty cool title.
Yeah. We can write it.
I wouldn't change a thing. I ended up being a big 6'6" tattooed up baby. I cry all the time now. I love my family, and super fortunate to even be on a stage singing for a living. So
Yeah.
I like who I am, and I probably would just say I just wrote the song the other day too. I was like, if I had a time machine and I could go back, I wouldn't change a thing. Because like every moment makes us who we are. The hard stuff, the stuff you're going through right now with your kids, it's when they start listening, it's going to be even better.
Yeah.
So if there was no hard, there wouldn't be a good. So I like going through that hard stuff because it makes the good even better.
Yeah.
So
Love it, man.
I don't know if I answered that question right.
Yeah, absolutely you did. Yeah.
But
All right, man. Well, thanks a lot.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see you soon.
Thank you guys for listening. This has been another episode of Stories Behind the Songs. I am Chris Blair, and you've been listening to Josh Melton. Make sure you give us a follow, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date, and we will see you next time. Thank you for listening to another episode of Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. Make sure to give us a follow on Spotify if you enjoyed this episode, and make sure you click that notification button so you can keep notified when new episodes come out. We release brand new episodes every Tuesday, and you can find us on YouTube at Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to send us a comment letting us know what you thought of the episodes. We love getting your feedback, and share this with your friends. The more we grow, the more that we can keep doing this. It's our mission to bring you all of these great stories behind the songs from some of Nashville's most iconic artists and songwriters, publishers, producers, everyone in between, and a lot of my great friends. We love what we do, and we love sharing their stories with you. We appreciate all of the continued support. Thanks also to all of our sponsors, and we will see you all next week.